Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another session of Trainer Diaries. We are in our first month in the Visibility Month, and we are having Pranay here with us. Now, before I delve into who actually Pranay is and go deep dive, I would just like to say that um, uh, organizations say invest in skills, correct, Pranay?
Correct, correct.
and
Absolutely.
and the people in and around, they search for meaning, right?
Right.
So when one improves performance, the other improves perspective,
Perfect. Correct, correct.
right? So,
Yeah.
audience, this is for you. Today, Pranay Jain over here has worked in both spaces as a corporate trainer and a life coach. Let's explore what happens when professional success and personal growth meet. Welcome, Pranay.
Yeah. Thank you, Radhika.
Thank you for being with us today.
It's
So,
my pleasure. In fact.
yeah, Pranay, what led you to step beyond corporate training and enter the world of life coaching, or do both of them together?
Uh, I would say, as I began as a life coach, where honestly, I am actually interested in, people, understanding people, to be more human oriented. Because what I see and understand is fundamentally we are same, but we are different in lot many ways as well. So what catches my attention is where are those differences? How are we different from each other yet remaining same fundamentally? So when it comes to life coach, that is where I want to dive deep in to understand the person as they are, to understand their level of awareness, their way of regulating their emotions, their perspective, and altogether who they are, how they see the outer world. So that is where I want to dive deep in as a life coach and help them to bring out from the problems that they face in their day-to-day life. And on other side, as a corporate trainer, what attracted me is corporates definitely say, as you said, like corporates ask to invest in skills. And most of the times, the whole pie goes to technical skills. Well, that's good enough. But honestly speaking, it's like technical skills alone cannot take us to the long way, because unless and until we uh, don't understand the real challenge, because corporates are what, they are also solution providers, but at the larger scale. So when they are here to give us the solutions for the challenge that exists, so they need to understand the challenge as a human first, then they have to go to the technical aspects. So that's where I interrelate both my life coach aspects elements with the corporate training part and always try to integrate both.
Absolutely. Wonderful. So, was there a moment when you realized that skills alone don't solve people's challenges?
Uh, Actually, yes. Even I myself had that experience, and also I have seen people struggling to grow in their career aspects as well, where I could see that a person, I mean, an individual who is already working since few years, like 5 to 7 years, a good experience in corporate, good at technical aspects, and if we see it. His background, his achievements, everything were too good. But the way that the person was standing at was far less than where he should have been. So then, when I dig deeper into his profile and I spoke to that person, what I understood is uh, the inner self, right? As a person, he had so many limitations that he created himself. The beliefs that we generally create is what pulls us down. So what I understood is those soft skills, I would say, or those human skills, I would say, that were lacking in that person, which made him to stay back in comparison to his peers. So that is where I understand that. when one wants to grow in professional space, it is inevitable that they have to also work on their human skills, on their soft skills. And if that misses out, some or the other way, they also miss the opportunities. So that is what I have experienced so far.
Okay. So, how do you think has life coaching changed the way you conduct any other training sessions in your life? How has that added?
Uh, so generally, what happens is in this life coaching aspect, mostly I go for like one-on-one sessions where that is only when I get to understand the person. Or sometimes there are few aspects where I conduct sessions for some group of people, like 5 to 7 group of people led together, where there are some common things that I want to share with them. See what are the challenges, how do we see them, how do we need to tackle them, some basic frameworks that we can implement in our day-to-day life. So when that comes, I conduct in group sessions, but mostly it is one-on-one. So what happens is, now how did that impact my training sessions is, whenever I go for training part, I see in them in two ways. I see every individual as individual, and then I see them as a group. So then I bring all those challenges as human everyone faces. Then I create a structure. Okay, these are the basic challenges or the common patterns. I observe the patterns. So when you observe the patterns, it becomes more easier to categorize the problem or to categorize the challenge and name them. Okay, someone might have communication problem, someone might have expertise, I mean like less expertise, or someone might have no knowledge about the skills that they need to work on. So there are different challenges or categories that we can create. So when I go for training aspects, I keep all those common challenges and then give my presentation accordingly.
Okay, perfect. So, people often say they have a communication problem. So, in
Correct.
your experience, is communication usually the real issue?
Communication, here I would see it in two ways actually, because when it comes to communication, there are two aspects. One is the tangible, another one is intangible. Tangible, I mean to say, the words which we understand. Okay, I am falling short of words. I know what to say, but I'm unable to find the correct word at that moment. So here the difference lies that person A is stammering or struggling because of falling short of words. And person B, he knows, I mean, what happens is, like, when he or she wants to say, they're stuck. Why? Because of lack of clarity in their thoughts. Of course, falling short of words and hesitation, fear of speaking something wrong, and self doubt. So all these aspects are there on the other side. So most of the times what I see is majority of people fall in person B category. They want to speak, they want to share, but only thing is what stops them is hesitation, self-doubt, those limiting beliefs, and not having clarity of thoughts. So those are the common areas which I see generally people falling uh, back in when it comes to communication. So I would say communication as a skill is not a problem, but converting our thoughts into words and presenting it in a right format is where the challenge lies. So I think that generally comes with practice and awareness.
Okay, perfect. So, what workplace challenge is usually a personal challenge in disguise?
Okay, what workplace challenge is a personal challenge in disguise? All right, so this is little for me. It is little difficult. I mean, typical to answer, but most of the times what I see is as a personal, as a life coach, even the challenges at workplace also somehow overlap personal challenges. What do I mean by this is most of the times workplace challenges are personal challenges. Now, how does that come? Let's say I am facing issue in using a software or using a product, or let's say Microsoft Excel. I'm putting a formula and it has not been applicable. Now I am facing challenge there, and without using that formula, I cannot get my work done. So that's a technical problem. But let's say in a team, 3 to 4 people are facing the same challenge, but no one is speaking about it. Maybe they might have problem with their peer, or maybe they might have problem with the work culture out there, or maybe the team rules that have been set already, or maybe sometimes the manager might have brought some new format and that is not been acceptable by the team. But what happens is for all the team members are facing challenge, but no one is speaking about it. So at a personal level, everyone is facing challenge, but that is a workplace challenge, but it is affecting them at a personal level. So that is where we need to understand. Though it is a workplace challenge, but it is impacting them at a personal level. So that is how I see that, most of the workplace challenges are personal challenges. And again, they can only being solved when one understands how is it impacting themselves, their work or their productivity, and how will it impact as a team whole together. When that person is aware of these three uh, aspects and the consequences of it, then he or she can speak out, or else the challenge will remain as a challenge.
Okay. So, I mean, you've just very clearly stated that most of the workplace challenges and the personal challenges are interlinked. So,
Correct.
what is one pattern you repeatedly see across professionals, regardless of age or designation?
So, as per the observations that I had and based on the experience that I carry till date, the repeated patterns, what I see is most of the times when the challenge comes or when the problem arises, the associates or maybe the employees, they they don't speak out at the right time, though despite knowing that it might have a consequences on them or maybe as a team or maybe also on the organization. Sometimes they don't bring it up. They think, okay, it will get faded away, I'll be able to manage. And then what happens is later on it compounds and grows so large that it becomes difficult even for the people who are sitting at higher level or executive level. Even for them also sometimes it becomes difficult, and then again they have to break it down into pieces, and then they have to again begin from the scratch to solve it and then keep moving forward. So oh, sorry for that. Yeah, so that is what I believe, one of the major challenge that exists. And next to that, again, as we just discussed about the communication as well, where communication is as a skill, is it a problem? But I would say yes. Most of the times, as I said, people know what to say, but they fail to understand when to say it. And if they understand when to say it, sometimes they fail how to say it. So that is where we need to break down and understand. So communication and not speaking at the right time. So these two are the major repeated patterns that I, at a personal level, have observed. Of course, there might be so many repeated patterns that might come in, but in my experience, in my observation, this is what I could see.
Okay. So, I just need a yes or a no for this. So,
Perfect. Yeah.
according to you, can someone be successful and still feel stuck?
Yes,
So, why do you think this?
because what I understand and see is success is very subjective at the very first place. What success is to me might not be success to Radhika, and vice versa, right? So that is one thing we need to understand. So there is no holistic, acceptable, or universal definition of success. Let's agree to this. And secondly, let's say now in my own definition, I am successful, right? But what happens is I see that success maybe with the parameters that I have set for myself. But somewhere I see I am lacking a meaning, a purpose, or a massive impact that I can create, or maybe the uh, positive thing that I could bring with my success. Because what happens is, let's say, I would like to give an example of IPL. Now, Chennai, CSK, and Mumbai Indians are two teams which repeatedly won the cup. Now, for them, after winning three times, if they win for the fourth time, that's not new to them. They are successful. They are already successful. But now, where is CSK captain feeling stuck? Because when he can only feel stuck when he is not able to bring that best out of the players, or when their team is not able to pick out good players every new year. If they play with the same team members, only those team members can improve themselves or be a good player. But if they don't give a chance to other players, then I would say they are doing nothing new. They are only repeating the same pattern. So generally at a personal level also, when people become successful, that is how they are successful because okay, world is accepting them. Okay, he is great or he achieved so many achievements like medals or certifications or maybe in terms of money, in terms of power. There are different ways to see as a successful person. But why they feel stuck? Because at a personal level, at a soul level, I would also say, to add a spiritual angle here, that purpose gets lost. In that pursuit, they actually forget the purpose or that purpose is not achieved. That meaning is not added to their success. So when that meaning is not added, that is where they feel stuck.
Perfect. So, so much about success and feeling stuck we've spoken about. So, what
Mhm.
is one definition of success that you personally stopped believing in?
Okay. So the definition of success that I personally stopped believing in.
Yes.
Okay. So, at a personal level, as I have been a life coach, and I also see people at corporate level sitting at a top-notch level, still feeling stuck. That experience had made me realize that the tangible achievements gives you happiness only to some extent, and defining yourself as a successful person with those tangible outcomes, maybe it can be money, maybe it can be your achievements, your goals, your marks, your money, or maybe the power that you hold, or maybe today as we are in social media, in the era of social media, today we see people have like these many followers, these many subscribers, these many likes, these many views. So maybe even that also do not make you really successful. So that is where I stopped believing in, where no matter how many views you get, no matter how many followers you have or how much money you made, no, unless and until you do not grow out of yourself and your effort, your work, your presence, and your achievements do not bring massive change to the people around you, and if your presence is not inspiring people, then I would say you are not successful. Or that is my personal definition. So for me, the definition of success is when I break my comfort zone, when I grow out of my capabilities, my limitations, and do something more than I can do, when my efforts are inspiring others and bringing a positive change. That is where I see myself as a successful person.
Okay, right. Wonderful. Thank you for that. So, According to you, what do high performing professionals often misunderstand about happiness?
Mm, to answer that, uh, when I see or read maybe articles written by some high professionals or maybe listen to their blogs, most of the times what I see is though they are visionary, they are more focused on the outcomes rather than the process. Yes, I understand that outcomes definitely do matter, but what happens is it is through the process that one can understand what's happening and what's not happening, what's working and not working. And happiness, actually, majority of the happiness comes through the fulfillment. And fulfillment comes when one understands that the work that they are doing is contributing for a meaningful change or for a great outcome. So most of the times when these people at higher level miss on that, they only focus on the numbers or the outcomes instead of sitting back and reflecting whether the people who are responsible for these outcomes, are they genuinely happy, are they able to understand what they are doing. So maybe that's one thing that they miss out on.
Okay. So, see, everyone has potential, right? Each and
Yes.
every person actually has potential. So, what is the biggest obstacle preventing people from reaching that potential of theirs?
So in this aspect, I would see it in two ways. Firstly, when they don't have that clarity, though they might know that, okay, I'm potential enough to do this, but they don't have that direction. And this is where even my guru used to always say that it is not the speed that matters, it is always the direction that matters. No matter how slow you go, if you're in the right direction, you will one day achieve your potential and your goal. So people fail because they don't understand where they are heading towards. That is one aspect. And secondly, even if one get the direction, people mostly fear of uncertainty because we do not know what's next, what is ahead in that road, what comes, what are the challenges, whether will I be able to do or not. So when that uncertainty gets overwhelmed in their minds, so many questions come up. Self doubt comes again. They question themselves. They get limiting beliefs. Maybe I cannot do it. What if I fail? What if I do not achieve? What will my parents say? What will the society think of? All these things get started compounding their mind, and then they pull themselves back.
Okay.
So these are the two things which I see generally.
Okay. So, when it comes to self doubt and confidence, how do
Mhm.
they show up differently in the workplace?
Self doubt and confidence. Okay. So what I see is one is the shadow of other, or maybe one gives birth to other. Generally, self doubt. I mean, to speak in an optimistic way, let's think self doubt is a good thing, but that can be converted into confidence when one sit and reflect on their achievements. One and two, number two, when their peers or their superior appreciate and recognize their contribution, their achievements, and their efforts. So when they are applauded, when they are recognized, that is where that self-doubt turns into confidence.
Okay.
So that is how I understand. Because when the manager or the peer appreciate them, hey, you did well. I mean, I did not expect that you would do this good. Well, good job done. That appreciation, that single line of appreciation is enough that next time that person is going to perform much better.
Okay. Perfect. So, what advice do people ask uh, for most often, but actually need the least?
Okay. So again, one of little difficult question, but yeah. So to answer it, I would say that most of the times when they face the challenge, they come to their senior or the person who is experienced. They ask like, "What do I do now? What should I do now? Like, see, this is the challenge and I'm stuck. What should I do?" Generally, in such situations, what happens is they know what to do. As I just said a minute ago, the uncertainty thing is what lags. I mean, what pulls them back. So they actually know what to do, but they're uncertain. Will they be able to achieve or do the same thing which their senior have done or their superior have done or not? So they don't need actually that advice. What should they do? They actually know.
Okay,
They should ask, what do I need now?
fine. So, this is like maybe a different kind of an angle that I'm going to talk about now. So,
Mm-hmm.
without naming anyone, can you share a transformation story that stayed with you?
Interesting. Actually, I would say it in a different way because rather than it presenting it as a transformative story, the experience that stayed with me is most of the times after those counseling sessions, the change that I see in those people, I mean, with whom I interact and take the counseling sessions, the positivity that they emit and the change in their thoughts, in their perspective, is actually what energizes me and is what I always stays with me because that actually adds the meaning to what I do because they themselves come back and when they give me the feedback or they say like, hey Pranay, thanks for the session, like it was really great and now I got the clarity what to do, how do I proceed. So that one line is what always stays with me.
Perfect. So, what is one coaching conversation you still remember even now?
Hmm. uh, Actually, once what happened is there was a like class 12 student. He was actually struggling with his education part and was actually confused and also was under like little stressed mindset. So he actually was good. He was a meritorious student, doing well in subjects and all, but somewhere he was not sure about uh, himself, like his future or the career that he wants to choose. And he was not able to present that to his parents as well because he was fearful that how do I ask because their parents are expecting something else and he wants to do something else. But then when I interacted with him, I understood that their parents, their family were modern enough and very easygoing. It was only he himself who have created that uh, situation where that their parents might not accept and they would revert back in a very negative way. They might feel bothered or sad that this is what they are not expecting from their son. So he created a situation in his mind which was nowhere necessary. And after that, when I asked him, "Ki, do one thing, just go sit and say that this is what my interest is." Just say it in a very simple way, in a very subtle way. I mean, I gave him some examples, and then the next day, or no, the next couple of days after that, he went and on one fine evening, he said the same thing in the same way as I asked him. And he was surprised to see how his parents were happy by his decision. And that actually when he came back and explained informed me that this is what has happened. I even for me also it was a happy moment because the way I expected, I thought okay they might first, I mean their parents might first stop like no beta, this is not the right choice for you, you choose this career, this will be good. But no, they didn't do that. They in fact were happy that he decided for himself and he's confident about it. And the joy that their parents exhibited transformed, I mean like carry forwarded to him, and that again came back to me. So that is one conversation that I still remember.
Okay. A very serious conversation that we had till now. Time for some
Mm-hmm.
rapid fire. So, we
Yeah.
just want answers in one word.
Okay.
Okay, one word.
Yeah.
So,
One word. All right.
growth begins when dash.
Growth begins when one takes action without any limiting beliefs.
Okay, confidence is not.
Confidence is not. Mm, confidence is not.
Yes.
Uh, I can only think at this moment as self doubt.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
So, one workplace skill everyone should master.
I would say human skills,
Perfect. And one life skill everyone should master.
self awareness,
Self-awareness. Fantastic. A belief you wish more people would let go of.
self doubt again.
Self-doubt. Perfect. Perfect answers. So, my last question for today would be if you could leave every professional with one lesson about life and one lesson about work, what would
Mm.
they be?
One lesson about life and one lesson about work. Uh, one lesson about life that I would like to leave here today is uh, always try to know yourself first rather than to prove yourself, because that is only when you will definitely grow in any sphere at a personal level. Because what happens is most of the times we try to prove ourselves no matter wherever we go, but rather than that, try to know yourself, and rest everything follows. And at a professional space, I would only like everyone to leave with this lesson that rather considering workspace as workspace, let's also start looking at it as a human space as well. Because everyone we are working with might be our colleagues, might be our superior or subordinates, but at the very first place, everyone is a human. And when we start looking at them, everyone with that angle, with that perspective, all workplace challenges will automatically fade away.
Perfect. So thank you, Pranay, for joining us today, and
Thank you so much,
it was
Radhika.
wonderful having you on Atulith's platform for a wonderful interview. And audience, today's conversation reminds us that behind every designation is a person. Skills help us perform, mindset helps us sustain, and purpose helps us stay engaged. The most successful professionals are often those who continue growing not just in careers but in themselves. So,
Correct.
thank you, Pranay, for sharing your experience and insights with us. It was lovely.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So, it's a sign off from Radhika Kotha. I will see you in the next activity. See you soon.